Well, good morning. It's a pleasure to be with you once again, and it is a privilege. It is a privilege to serve as the president of Northern Kentucky University. So today marks the beginning of another academic year and the beginning of my 5th year here at NKU, and I am proud of all that we have accomplished together. Now, you know these past 4 years have included some significant challenges, but we continue to fulfill our fundamental promises, those fundamental promises that define our university, to put our students first, to lead with excellence, and to have a lasting impact. Sue, thank you for your service to our faculty, to our staff, and our students. Justin, Jason, that was a wonderful performance. Thank you very much. Let's give them another round of applause. They truly demonstrate the quality, the remarkable talent that exists within our School of the Arts. Thank you very much. And Missy, congratulations. Congratulations on a professional honor, and thank you for your presentation today. You are a true inspiration to all of us. Thank you. And you now join an elite group of faculty at our university. Will all of the previous winners of the Milburn Award, would you please stand so that we can recognize you as well? Thank you all for your service. So there are several of our members of our Board of Regents are with us today. Our Board Vice Chair, Lee Shaben, who is also the Senior Vice President of Heritage Bank. He is here, and he is a graduate of our Chase Law School. Welcome, Lee. Thank you for being, you can stand or wave, whatever you prefer. Great. Our Board Secretary is here, Ms. Ginny Fox. She served as the Secretary of the Kentucky Education Cabinet. Thank you, Ginny. She's here with her devoted husband, Vic, who I understand celebrated his 80th birthday last week. Way to go, Vic. Congratulations. Rick Boyce is here in our front row. He's a professor of biological sciences, and he's the director of our environmental sciences program. Rick, welcome. And I complimented Rick, you know, he's on sabbatical. He not only showed up, but he came with a tie. Arnie Slaughter is here. Where's Arnie? I know I saw Arnie Slarius, front row. Arnie is the interim vice president, assistant vice president for student engagement and business operations. Arnie, thank you for your service to our university, our students. I also saw Andre Ward. He's the president and CEO of the Coffray Ward Corporation. He graduated. He's an alumnus, a proud alumnus of NKU from 1986. Thank you, Andre. I saw Will Weber. Will, there he is in the front row as well. Will is a senior majoring in entrepreneurship and economics, and he's the president of our Student Government Association. Welcome to the board, Rick. And it is now my honor to introduce our two newest regents who were appointed just last week to our board by Governor Bevin. Norm Damaris is the CEO of Tier 1 Performance, and Norm has been engaged with our university for many years. His wife, Lisa, and Norm's daughters, Cassandra and Katie, all three of them are graduates of NKU. Norm, there's Norm, front row. Thank you. Welcome, Norm. And Greg Shoemate, who is a partner with Frost Brown Todd. Greg has served the university in many ways, most recently for several years as co-chair of the Foundation Advocacy Committee. Greg, thank you very much. We are all grateful to these men and women for their service and their continued support of our students. I also want to thank members of the board of the NKU Foundation. I think Barry Kinzel is here. He's the president of the foundation board. Barry, thank you for joining us. You know, these are turbulent economic times, and our foundation has done an excellent job managing our private resources, advocating on behalf of our university and our students, and strengthening our relationships with our alumni and our friends and our community supporters. And we're thankful to you and the foundation board for that. Also here this morning are two of my predecessors. I saw both Leon Booth and Jim Vitruba. Leon and Jim, would you please stand so that we can recognize you as well? So now, to everyone, We're delighted that you're here. Thank you for joining us this morning. And this morning I'm going to spend a few minutes to talk about our ability as a university community, our ability to excel even in the face of significant challenges. And then I'll talk about the opportunities, our opportunities for the future, for future growth and sustained momentum. As you well know, these are challenging times. They're challenging times for colleges and universities in Kentucky and all across our country. On our campus, there are many factors that have converged to threaten our capacity to fulfill our mission. And one factor is declining demographics. Simply put, there are fewer students graduating from high school. In Kentucky, the number of students graduating from high school peaked in 2011. Last year, there were 2,000 fewer graduates, 2,000 fewer students who graduated from high school in Kentucky. That's a decrease of 5% from the peak. Same story in Ohio and Indiana. In fact, these demographic declines are affecting college enrollments all across the country. These declines have created another challenge for us, and that's because colleges and universities from outside the region are recruiting here more aggressively than ever before, which means that we must invest more resources to recruit and retain local students. And as the economy improves, fewer high school graduates choose to enroll in college. And there are some people out there who even question the value of a college education, even though study after study has shown that college graduates earn substantially more, about $1 million more over a lifetime than high school graduates. And all of this comes at a time when Kentucky continues to reduce funding for higher education. A report released last spring by the National Center for Budget and Policy Priorities showed that since 2008, the beginning of the recession, since 2008, Kentucky has cut higher appropriations per student by 32%. 32%. That's nearly double the national average. And as a result, here on our campus, since 2009, we have lost $7 million in annual state support. And as you know, we've also been hurt by the increasing cost of our pension contributions, which have skyrocketed from less than $4 million in 2010 to nearly $18 million this year. You put those together, the combined adverse financial impact of just these two factors is $21 million a year, about 10% of our budget. And the majority of that adverse impact has been inflicted upon us in just the last few years. But notwithstanding these challenges, and they are extraordinary, difficult challenges, our university continues to succeed. Indeed, we continue to excel. We continue to attract bright students from across the Commonwealth and around the world. And we, our faculty and our staff, continue to provide those students with a quality, personal, educational experience. So how do we do it? We've been able to sustain our momentum in the face of these significant headwinds by maintaining our commitment to our strategic plan. As you know, 3 years ago, we undertook a comprehensive and inclusive planning process that produced our shared plan for the future. Through all of those challenges, we have stayed true to the goals, to the strategies, and to the core values of that plan. And even with those significant financial challenges, we continue to make strategic investments in our students, in our programs, and in our infrastructure. And those investments rarely bear immediate fruit. They require persistence, and they require patience. Now, fortunately, very fortunately, our faculty and staff, they are tenacious. And as a result of sustained effort, our strategic investments are paying off. The quality of our incoming freshman class continues to improve. This fall, based upon the preliminary projected data, our incoming freshman class has a median ACT score of 25 and a median high school GPA of 3.45. 5 years ago, as you see on the chart, the median ACT score was 22. 10 years ago, it was 21.2. To go from 21.2 to 25 in just one decade is simply remarkable. It's a reflection of the quality of our faculty, the service of our staff, the quality of our academic programs, and it is the product of effective recruitment efforts. This year, we're also going to see an increase in international students. That number has been in flux for recent years, but this fall we will welcome more than 80 freshmen from more than 30 countries. When you include our exchange students and our returning students, we will have students from more than 70 countries on our campus this year. We also continue to see measurable improvement in our retention rates. I'm pleased to report that based upon our projected data for this fall, our first to second year retention rate, that freshman to sophomore rate, that key rate, will increase by more than 2 percentage points just this year alone. This fall, we anticipate our retention rate will be at an all-time high of 72%. In 2010, it was 66%. That's a 6 percentage point increase in just 6 years. And let me give you some context. It's not easy, as you know, it's not easy to move the needle with respect to retention. Nationally, at public comprehensive universities like NKU, retention rates have improved by just 1 percentage point in 10 years. So our progress is quite significant. And as I've said before, retention is our collective responsibility, and that's why I'm grateful to all of you, all of our faculty and staff, for your commitment to student success. We're making real progress because of your efforts, so thank you. Another important measure of our progress is the number of degrees we confer each year. By that measure, the last 5 years have been the most productive in our history. Last year, we conferred 2,835 degrees, including more bachelor's degrees than in any year in our history. Over the last 10 years, our university has conferred more than 27,000 degrees. And during that 10-year period, we have the highest growth rate in degrees conferred among all of the public universities in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. So now let me just illustrate the importance of long-term strategic investments, beginning first through our College of Informatics. It was only 10 years ago that our university created a bold vision for a new college that would create cutting-edge transdisciplinary programs to prepare our students for the 21st century. The move wasn't without risks. For starters, no one knew what the word informatics even meant. And how could we create a high-tech college without a high-tech facility? I suspect that there were some skeptics, or as Jim and Missy would say, there were probably some naysayers and doubters. But today, the College of Informatics has become an integral part of our campus, and it has been designated a National Center for Academic Excellence in Cyber Defense by the National Security Agency and the Department of Homeland Security. Since its creation, enrollment in the college has steadily increased, and over the last 6 years, the college has seen a 78% growth in degrees awarded. Informatics students in our Center for Applied Informatics solve real-world problems for local companies and nonprofit organizations. They are developing everything from life-saving response mobile apps to immersive virtual reality games. Over the past decade, our informatics programs have gained national attention. Our CAI Virtual Co-op program received the prestigious Excellence and Innovation Award for Regional and Economic Development from ASCU, and a number of our programs are ranked among the best in the nation by a variety of print and online publications. But this success didn't happen overnight. As with any long-term investment, it has taken some time and a lot of hard work to translate a bold vision for a new college into a vibrant hub on our campus and have an institution that's having an impact in our region. And the College of Informatics is not alone. We're making strategic investments in all of our colleges. We are developing innovative programs within the College of Arts and Sciences and the School of the Arts. For example, faculty in the college are now developing a transdisciplinary degree that will combine traditional elements of animation, such as drawing, modeling, and color studies, with other disciplines, including biology, physics of movement, and computer graphic design. Other faculty are developing a bachelor's degree in environmental science that will feature courses in photography, communications, anthropology, and environmental science. and other faculty in the college are developing a pre-expressive arts therapy degree that will combine visual arts, music, theater, dance, and psychology. There's similar innovation that is propelling our College of Business. In January at the Convocation, I told you about our investment in our incubator program, and I highlighted one of the program's graduates, Complete Set. Since then, the total capital raised by our incubator graduates has now climbed to more than $2 million, and Complete Set is part of the current class of Techstars Chicago. Today, I want to tell you about another investment that is producing extraordinary returns. As part of the $15 million gift from the Hale U.S. Bank Foundation, we established an investment fund managed by business students. The fund, which was initiated in the spring of 2011, began with $100,000 and another $200,000 was added in the spring of 2013. The fund has seen tremendous growth, and it consistently outperforms the market. In fact, the value of the fund now totals more than $628,000. That's what you call a good return on investment. The College of Education and Human Services actively engages our students in innovative partnerships with local schools and community agencies. For example, Professor Tammy Sherry and Lisa Riesing, the principal of Florence Elementary School, both of whom are NKU graduates, they developed a new approach to teacher education that completely immerses our students in the classroom. Typically, our students would take classes here on campus and then spend 2 days a week in the field observing and helping local teachers. Tammy and Lisa, they didn't think that was enough, so they developed something innovative. Now, our students participating in this program take all of their classes at Florence Elementary. They arrive on day one at the school and immediately begin to build relationships with teachers and students. As a result, our students are gaining more practical teaching experience than ever before, better preparing them for the challenges that they will face during their career. And in turn, the Florence Elementary students reap the benefits of having 2 or 3 teachers in the classroom nearly every day, and the Florence Elementary teachers get the help of highly skilled assistants. The College of Health Professions has now created a nurse anesthesia program as a specialization within the Doctor of Nursing practice. This program was designed to meet a compelling regional and national need. Certified registered nurse anesthetists administer approximately 40 million anesthetics each year in the United States. And so, like many of our health programs, the nurse anesthesia program has high growth potential and will be an important part of our Health Innovation Center. 2 years ago, only 2 years ago, the Chase College of Law launched the Lunsford Academy for Law, Business, and Technology. One of the objectives of the Lunsford Academy is to attract outstanding students to our law school. And I want to tell you about one of the Lunsford scholars, Will Hawkins. Just a few weeks ago, Will was part of a team that competed at the Cyber Grand Challenge. That's a competition that is sponsored by the Pentagon's Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, or DARPA. The competition sought to create cyber reasoning systems which automatically identify and fix software vulnerabilities. Will's team finished second and won a prize of $1 million. Will earned a bachelor's degree at Furman and a master's degree from the University of Virginia, and he's worked as a computer scientist for the United States Naval Research Laboratory. Will had the opportunity to enroll in just about any law school in the country. But because of the Lunsford Academy, which combines a traditional legal education with 21st century business and technology skills, because of the Lunsford Academy, Will is now a student here at Chase. Steely Library has recently designed an innovative new tool, an institutional repository. The repository is a place where digital content created by our faculty and our students, digital content like publications, honors theses, and student research projects, all of this content can be stored and then retrieved by users from anywhere in the world. Shortly after the repository went live, Stephanie Kozlowski, one of our students, stored her paper in this repository, and then she added a link to the paper on her LinkedIn page. Stephanie's paper was retrieved by one of the country's leading researchers on addition stigma, and this scholar invited Stephanie to submit her paper for publication in the journal that this scholar edits. As Perry Lou Goddard said, and I couldn't say it better, the institutional repository is the bomb. But these programs, they don't create themselves. They are created by the women and the men who serve on our faculty. And we are fortunate. We are very fortunate at our university to have so many innovative faculty. And I want to share just a few of their achievements. This year, Professor Darrell Harris joined Professor Linda Wermeling as a Fulbright specialist. During these 5-year appointments, they will serve as expert consultants for universities all around the world. Darrell's passion for teaching is contagious, and it is an honor. It is an honor for those two individuals and for our university to have them representing us in this prestigious program. Professor Abdullah Al-Barani wanted to make learning economics fun for his students, so he created a quiz that required students to write a poem or haiku using economics concepts. It's now evolved into a semester-long project where students write song parodies and make economics-themed music videos. Today, his Econ Beats program continues to grow. Abdullah now partners with faculty colleagues in electronic media and broadcasting to make the project more transdisciplinary. His macroeconomics students write the songs, and EMB students produce a video for actual clients, and these videos are then shared with the campus community, and the one receiving the most votes is entered into a national competition. So who knew? Who knew that economics could be so much fun? This year, Professor Keisha Nelson received the Excellence in Innovation in Teaching Award by the Association of Black Nursing Faculty. Keisha prepares her students for their challenging careers by developing innovative techniques that include a group psychiatric diagnosis role-play project. Her students observe pediatric grief counseling sessions and mental health court and probate court proceedings. They visit homeless shelters and Alcoholic Anonymous meetings. And they also go on a ride-along with the Cincinnati Police Department. That's innovation. Community engagement is one of our university's enduring commitments. And I want to share 2 examples of innovative community engagement in action by our faculty. Professor Holly Reif encouraged her graduate students in her social work class to partner with local agencies to define gaps in serving the local Somali refugee community. Her students studied the complex process a refugee must go through to resettle in America. The students gained a deeper understanding of how they can educate the community and advocate on behalf of the 2,000 Somalis living in our region. Karen Brownlee was a first-year student in Holly's class. And here's what Karen said about the experience. This is a quote. "I loved working with the community. It was a great opportunity. I don't know if there are many times in your life where you have something that sparks you like that." Those spark moments are the reason why investments in academic innovation are so important. I know this work is difficult, and I know it takes more time, but we also know that it's always worth it. It's worth it because it will have a lasting impact on our students. And in turn, in our commitment, they will have a lasting impact on our community. 2 weeks ago, a little bit more fun, I had the pleasure of attending Luminosity with my wife, Jennifer, and we saw firsthand some of the great work being done by our informatics faculty and students. At the show, I sat next to Professor Chris Strobel, whose class produced a live-action movie and an animated film as part of the Luminosity Reimagined project. This 48-minute film featured stylized, animated versions of iconic buildings, including our own Griffin Hall. The 15-minute movie featured a construction worker who finds the spirit at Music Hall's renovation and magically travels through the region before finally bringing that spirit to the Taft Theater so that Luminosity could live again. Our students in the CAI also presented a real-time virtual reality painting project, and it was a wonderful evening all around, an evening that showcased the talent of our students. Now one more professor, David Singleton. David was born in the South Bronx. When he was 6 months old, his family moved to Asheville, North Carolina. During his junior year at Duke University, David returned to New York and found his old neighborhood ravaged by the crack epidemic of the 1980s. And that experience changed him. David then enrolled at Harvard Law School, where he decided to dedicate his career to social justice. He served as executive director of the Ohio Justice and Policy Center for the past 14 years, and he is now on the faculty of Chase Law, where he has developed a constitutional litigation clinic that places our student in charge of important cases. And I want to tell you about one of David's students. Nicholas Hunt is a rising third-year law student. He represents the estate of an Ohio inmate named Greg Stamper, who was denied pain medication for a condition that made his skin feel like it was on fire. Eventually, Mr. Stamper was unable to endure the suffering any longer, and he hanged himself. Nick filed suit, claiming that the prison doctor's denial of care amounted to cruel and unusual punishment. And 3 weeks ago, under David's supervision, Nick represented Mr. Stamper in the United States Court of Appeals for the Sixth Circuit, one of the highest courts in our country. Nick argued effectively and passionately for his client. He gained great experience, and he made us all very proud. So these are just a few of our faculty who are dedicated to bringing innovative, life-changing experiences to our classroom and to our students. And so to you, to all of our faculty here, all of our faculty all across the campus, thank you for the work that you do every day, the work that you do that will prepare our students for successful careers and to inspire them to lead meaningful lives. Now, one other thing that you may have noticed about those faculty is the diversity. We know that our students benefit from being exposed to diverse perspectives. Our commitment to diversity and inclusive excellence is articulated in the goals and values in our strategic plan, and that commitment has never been stronger. 6 years ago, President Petruba established a campus diversity plan task force, and a year later, our Board of Regents adopted our diversity plan. Since then, we've made good progress. Over the last decade, enrollment of African American students, Hispanic students, and students who identify as two or more races has increased significantly. Collectively, enrollment among those groups has nearly doubled since just 2007. Retention rates, those critical retention rates for underrepresented minority students, are also on the rise. Based on our projected data for this fall, our first to second year retention rate for these students has increased 13 percentage points since just 2011. 13 percentage points in just 5 years. And so I'm grateful to all of the faculty and staff to ensure that all of our students succeed. These statistics are impressive, but these numbers don't tell the whole story. In 2013, when I announced that I was creating a new position, the new position of Senior Advisor to the President for Inclusive Excellence, I said that the phrase inclusive excellence expresses our aspiration that our university will measure success by more than counting the number of faculty, staff, and students in different racial or ethnic groups. Of course, those numbers are important, but to be truly inclusive, we must expand diversity to include gender, religion, culture, sexuality, geographic diversity, socioeconomic status, and political and philosophical beliefs. And we have and continue to become more inclusive. In 2013, together, we created the Office of LGBTQ Services, Programs and Services to better serve our students. In 2014, we began offering faculty and staff who have domestic partners the same benefits available to all employee spouses. Thank you. We have also increased programming that educates and enlightens our community. For example, just last April, we hosted our third annual Pride Week at NKU, which featured lectures and readings, a Pride March, an Economic Inequality Summit, and a keynote address by Jim Obergefell, the lead plaintiff in the Supreme Court case that established same-sex marriage as a constitutional right. And now we strive to spread this message of understanding and empowerment beyond the boundaries of our campus. In her role as senior advisor, Kathleen Roberts has become an influential voice, working with the Council on Post-Secondary Education and the Committee on Equal Opportunities to develop a new statewide diversity strategy that establishes inclusive excellence as the core of Kentucky's higher education diversity work. And in October, our campus will host an Inclusive Excellence Symposium that will provide educators and business and community leaders with the opportunity to engage with national experts on the latest trends in inclusive excellence. Kathleen is also now convening a committee of faculty and staff and students to develop our own Inclusive Excellence Plan 2020. This plan will guide our institution through the 50th anniversary and well beyond. An inclusive campus culture is everyone's shared responsibility, and I am proud to be a part, to be a member of such a welcoming university community. Now, that sense of community has been created and cultivated by our dedicated staff. Each day, more than 1,000 staff come to this campus with a shared commitment to serve our students and to support one another. More than 1,000 people. Think for just a moment about the range of services they provide. They advise our students about their class schedules and their careers. They manage our resources to ensure that we can invest as much as possible into directly supporting our students. And they keep our campus clean and safe and beautiful. Our students come into contact with dozens of staff members every day. Our students' experiences here are shaped by the interactions with our custodial staff, with administrative assistants, with painters and electricians, with counselors, advisors, cooks and police officers, our roads and grounds crew, and our librarians. And I will tell you something truly special about our university. Even during these difficult financial times, and notwithstanding these extraordinarily diverse responsibilities, our staff members remain dedicated to our mission, and they exemplify collegiality. And I want to give you just two examples of their spirit. A few weeks ago, Dave Bauer and Katie Lovell and their colleagues on Staff Congress created the 2016 Picnic in the Park. It was a fun and relaxing event for our staff and our faculty and their families. And one of the highlights of that day, one of the highlights for me at least, was partnering with Walter Smith. Walter, Walt, where are you? I saw you in here earlier. There's Walt. Stand up, Walt. You can wave. Come on. So Walt is in facilities management. We've developed a relationship because we're both from Cleveland. So for years we commiserated that Cleveland never won a national sports championship. But how about those Cavaliers, Walt? There we go. Okay. So feeling pretty good about ourselves at the Cleveland Cavaliers, we decided to play a game of cornhole against Ken Butoff and Kalen Holland. If you know Kalen, he played basketball pretty recently at Western Kentucky University. Walt, you and I tried hard, but we lost. We learned a hard lesson that day. Don't take on two guys who are tall enough, and don't take on two guys in cornhole who are tall enough to just dunk the beanbag on the other end of the field. The turnout for the picnic was great. More than 600 people attended. It was wonderful. It was wonderful for all of us to see faculty and staff and their families together for an afternoon of fun. My second example comes from a conversation I had with Dave just before Thanksgiving last fall. Dave suggested to me that we host an informal breakfast to celebrate our commitment to community and to collegiality. Before the breakfast, he told me about the impact on our employees, the impact of last year's one-time $1,000 supplemental payment. Dave told me about a staff member who was able to get his car fixed so he could drive to spend the holidays with his family. Another staff member was thrilled to be able to buy gifts for her nieces and nephews without having to worry about being able to pay her electricity bill. And there was another story that I will never forget. Dave told me about a staff member who had pawned his wife's engagement ring in the summer so that he could buy new tires for their family's minivan. He wasn't sure, he told Dave, he wasn't sure if he was ever going to be able to get that ring back. But because of the one-time payment, he was able to reclaim the engagement ring. And he surprised his wife by presenting the ring to her over the holidays. I share these two stories to illustrate 2 points. First, I appreciate the human consequences of the decisions I make. I understand and appreciate the direct, and the personal impact that the decisions I make have on you, on our faculty, on our staff, on our students, and your families. And second, I value the advocacy of our staff Congress. They advance the mission of our university. And so I ask that will all the members of the staff Congress please stand so that we can recognize you. You know, these women, these men have helped transform our campus. And I want to take just a couple moments to reflect on how far we've come. You know, we used to have a farm pond in the center of campus. It was unattractive, and I hear that it smelled funny. I've been told that everyone did everything they could to avoid going by it, apparently everyone other than President Frank Steele. Today, Loch Norse is one of our campus's most attractive locations for students and for Pokemon. We used to eat lunch in the cafeteria, which was actually just a few vending machines in the first floor of Nunn Hall. Today, our students can choose sushi, pizza, burgers, and pasta, and they even have the luxury of being able to eat sitting down. We used to have our commencement ceremonies in Regents Hall. Today, our students graduate in the beautiful, beautiful BB&T Arena. 25 years ago, we were strictly a commuter campus. Today, 2,000 students live on our campus, and we are seeing unprecedented demand for on-campus housing. We used to exercise here. Now, today, we exercise here. We used to teach classes like this. Today, we teach classes like this. And what was concrete has been replaced with beautiful trees and flowers and fountains and green space. What a remarkable transformation. And I want to thank everyone involved in making our campus so attractive. Those who have played a role in planning and designing our campus. Those who shovel our walkways when it snows, and those who mow the grass in these months when it's blazing hot outside, and those who keep our buildings clean and comfortable. Will all of our faculty, facilities management staff, please stand and be recognized. And now every day, right outside, we're witnessing the emergence of our next advanced facility, the renovation of Founders Hall and the construction of the Health Innovation Center, which will open in the summer of 2018. These buildings will support an integrated portfolio of programs to prepare healthcare professionals. In our region, there's a well-documented need to expand existing programs and to create new programs to educate these professionals. We will incorporate a variety of transdisciplinary academic programs that will allow us to conduct applied research that can be shared with the practicing community to improve the service these practitioners provide. And we will provide those programs in flexible spaces that can adapt to new technologies and new training methods. This new facility will also reflect our strong commitment to community engagement. Our success will be dependent upon our ability to identify and collaborate with many external partners, including healthcare providers, other academic institutions, nonprofit organizations, and businesses. One important partner is St. Elizabeth Healthcare, which last fall committed to invest $8 million in the Health Innovation Center to create the St. Elizabeth Healthcare Simulation Center. This two-story, comprehensive virtual care facility will provide students with active learning experiences across the continuum of care. Given our current array of health-related programs and our strategic emphasis on transdisciplinary education and training, I know that we are well positioned to lead a population health effort that will make a positive, lasting difference in our community. Now, I'm sure there are some who question, there are some skeptics, there are some naysayers, who will doubt whether our university and this Northern Kentucky community can achieve such an ambitious goal. just as I suspect that some skeptics doubted whether we could transform farmland into this, our modern comprehensive university. Into this. We'll rehearse better the next time. But seriously, we know, one of the things that we know here at Northern Kentucky University, we know because we've done it. We know that with a bold vision and with patience and perseverance and hard work, we can do it, and we will. We're also investing in intercollegiate athletics. And I recognize that, again, some people may question the value of that investment. But again, as with most strategic investments, this investment will take some time. But we're already seeing progress, and we've got a lot to celebrate. A couple of weeks ago, we completed the 4-year reclassification process. We are now officially Division I, and our students can now qualify for and compete in national championships. But the NCAA committee that approved our transition commended us for our commitment to excellence every step of the way during that process. As in everything we do, we didn't try to merely meet the minimum requirements. We fulfilled our promise to lead with excellence. During the 4-year transition, and especially last year in the Horizon League, our athletes fared well on the field and on the court. But I'm most proud of 2 things about our student athletes. First, our student athletes continue to excel in the classroom. Last spring, they recorded a cumulative grade point average of 3.24. That matched the highest in our history, which happened last fall. It marked the 4th consecutive semester with at least a 3.2 GPA and the 10th consecutive semester with at least a 3.0 GPA. If you look back, as you saw on that chart just a moment ago, if you look back at our student-athlete GPAs through the years, you will see that they have been steadily increasing as we have increased our competitive nature. At no time in our history have our student-athletes earned such academic success. The second story speaks to the character of our student-athletes. Last year, they devoted more than 2,700 hours of community service work for organizations ranging from the Habitat for Humanity to the Campbell County Schools. Our student-athletes are committed to success in the classroom and on the playing field, and they are committed to service in our community. And for that, we should all be proud. Now, there's one story that exemplifies the character of our student-athletes. Nick Lang is a junior majoring in sports business. He also competes on our men's tennis team. He's gotten attention during his career because he is the only NCAA Division I athlete in the country who is battling cystic fibrosis. Nick's story is personal for me and my family. You see, my wife Jennifer, she's one of 8 children. 2 of her sisters were born with cystic fibrosis. Jennifer's older sister, Mary, died when she was young. Jennifer carries the recessive gene that causes cystic, which means that my children could be carriers as well. Nick was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis as a toddler. If you don't know much about the disease, it causes thick mucus to impede your body's ducts and passageways. Nick takes about 30 pills each day to aid digestion, and he has to use a nebulizer to loosen the mucus that collects in his lungs. There are days when his body just isn't as strong as he'd like it to be, but you wouldn't notice. Nick works just as hard as any of his teammates. He is one of the fastest players on the team. His coach, Brian Nestor, says Nick smiles more than any player he's ever coached and that his attitude is contagious. In fact, for months, some of his teammates didn't even know he had cystic fibrosis. Nick doesn't let that disease control him, no matter how much it may try. In 2013, Nick's older sister, Alicia, who also suffered from the disorder, died as a result of an infection following a double lung transplant. She was only 20 years old. Nick didn't let this terrible loss, defeat him. It motivated him. Against the University of Hartford, Nick dropped the first set. Then he rallied to win the next 2 sets to help his team record a 5-2 team victory. Nick said he remembered his teammates cheering him on as he rallied from the come-from-behind win. Nick said he relished this victory because he earned it. His words, "I don't give up during a match, and I never will." Nick represents his team and our university with grace and courage. Young men and young women like Nick are the reason that investing in our student athletes will always be a good one. So speaking of important investments, last year's state budget process also gave us some reasons to be proud and to be hopeful. At our convocation in January, I stood on this stage and I asked you to make our elected officials in Frankfurt hear you. For too long, as you know, we have been adversely affected by an unfair funding model. Our campus has been making that case since the days when our students ate from those vending machines in Nunn Hall. I challenged you. I asked you. I asked you to make them hear you, and you did. You sent more than 4,300 messages to the General Assembly and to Governor Bevin. You emailed, you tweeted, and you called. You told them to fix the funding disparity that has impeded our university for at least 2 decades. It was the most aggressive advocacy campaign in our history, and they listened. While the statewide 4.5% reduction in higher education funding forced us to make some difficult decisions last spring, our long-term budget outlook is a bit brighter because, as you know, the General Assembly agreed to increase our state appropriation next year by more than $5 million. And in addition, our state leaders are now committed to adopting an outcomes-based funding model, a new approach, an approach that should reward universities, high-performing universities like ours. The legislative session, that legislative session and our efforts is another example of what I've been talking about this morning. When we work together for a common cause and when we pursue our ambitions tenaciously, when we do that, we can achieve our goals. And so together we must now face our next challenge, which is to increase our enrollment. Notwithstanding our collective best efforts, our enrollment has declined modestly in recent years, consistent with national averages. I told you about some of the causes of that declining enrollment. Now I want to tell you about some of the things we are doing to overcome those challenges. Last month, Kim Scranage presented to our board a comprehensive plan that includes specific strategies for recruiting and retaining new freshmen, new transfer students, new adult learners, and new online and international students. The 2 goals of this new plan are simple: to increase enrollment and to improve student success. While those goals may sound familiar, don't assume that this plan is business as usual. This is an aggressive, creative, innovative plan that will involve our faculty and staff in student recruitment more than ever before. Now, of course, I won't get as detailed as Kim did with the board last month, but I want to give you just a simple idea of just a few of the new strategies that are included in our new plan. By swarming the region, we will increase our visibility by involving more of you, all of you, in student recruitment. I think Kevin Kirby described it best the other day when he said we are going to unleash our talented faculty and our dedicated staff to help us recruit in local high schools. We'll also become more competitive through strategic financial aid offerings, such as a new tuition incentive program. To increase enrollment, we will also create new pathway agreements with KCTCS institutions and develop flexible pathways for all of our programs. To increase graduate enrollment, we will expand our programming through alternative delivery modes and enrollment options, such as stackable certificates and alternative credentialing. To grow our adult and online enrollment, we will explore the possibility of contracting with a third-party partner to grow our online presence. And to increase first-year enrollment in the long term, we will design a signature new NKU experience, which will be focused on unique opportunities and academic areas of distinction. Now, of course, there are other strategies already in place to help with recruitment. This summer, as you see, we hosted more than 350 of Kentucky's brightest high school students on our campus for the Governor's Scholars Program. These outstanding students had a great experience on our campus. In just the last 2 weeks, I've received several letters from GSP scholars, and I want to share just a couple of excerpts from them. One woman wrote, "The community here is unlike any other. We were welcomed with open minds and with open hearts." Another young woman wrote, "I hope you are doing well because I am doing great. And a big part of that is due to you, because I am a governor's scholar at Northern Kentucky University. The campus is beautiful. I could not imagine being assigned to any other campus because the facilities here are so nice." And finally, one young man wrote, "Northern Kentucky University is an amazing campus, and it is definitely the perfect host for GSP. NKU has broadened my college search. Before, I was sure of the college I'd be attending next year, but after spending 5 weeks at NKU, I'm no longer sure." These letters demonstrate the value of our decision to invest in hosting GSP on our campus. Now, many of you, faculty and staff, sometimes ask me how you can get involved with student recruitment. And this fall, all of you will have a chance to get involved. The provost and Kim will host open forums and meet with department chairs to present this new comprehensive plan in greater detail. I ask you to please attend. We need your input, and most importantly, we need your active support and participation. Make no mistake, this is our most important challenge, and it's simple. It's simple because we are increasingly tuition dependent, so we need to grow. More importantly, if we are going to achieve our goals of student success and talent development, we must recruit, retain, and graduate more students. And most importantly, if we are going to achieve our fundamental mission to continue to help thousands of students achieve their potential, we must continue to be a magnet for talent and ambition and bold dreams. Allow me to illustrate the kind of talent and ambition I'm talking about. Last spring, as you may recall, I shared with some of you the stories of last year's graduates, including a story about Alma Onate. Alma was a pre-med chemistry major with minors in biology and history. She graduated in May with a GPA in excess of 3.9. But Alma's success academically is only part of her story. When she was young, Alma moved to the United States when her sister Sandra was diagnosed with glaucoma. Sandra, who just completed her freshman year here at NKU, required multiple surgeries on both eyes over the years, and those surgeries created financial hardships for Alma's family. In the middle of Alma's toughest semester, her family lost their home. Alma's classmates, though, didn't have a clue, and that's because she kept her positive attitude and she managed to keep up with her demanding work. She said she had to work hard, and she missed some sleep during her time here, but she said that she lived by a simple motto: tiredness is temporary, and education is forever. Alma is now a medical student at Harvard University. On Monday, if you walk across this campus, you'll see this. On Monday, we will welcome more than 2,000 new students who have the same extraordinary potential and ambition, and many who may face some of the same challenges that Alma overcame. I told you about Will Hawkins, who decided to come home to Chase. Let me introduce you to 4 more of our new students. I told you about the large group of international students who have chosen to enroll in our university. One of those students is Jennifer Toyo. Although Jennifer is a United States citizen, she was born and raised her entire life in the Ivory Coast. Her mother, Nina, is employed by the State Department as an Education USA advisor for the United States Embassy in the Ivory Coast. I had a chance to meet with Nina last week, and she told me about Jennifer's decision to enroll here at NKU. Here's what Nina said about her meeting with Samba Jang, our Director of International Student and Scholar Services. After he met with hundreds of students, I was surprised that Samba thought to address me as a parent. He asked me a question that no other recruiter had ever asked about my priorities for my child in our choices for college. This helped me see a difference in NKU. Jennifer now plans to major in biology. This past week, she participated in our ROCKS program. Here's what Nina said about her daughter. As an African American who grew up outside the U.S., I was especially appreciative of this opportunity for her to be mentored into leadership by a community that understands and embraces her uniqueness. Samba, thank you for showing the world that something special is happening at our university. Kaylee Combs and Austin Bailey are from closer. They're from Lee County. For both of them, the moment when they first began to consider our university came when I visited their high school in 2014 during our initial Road to NKU tour. Austin has always been fascinated by computers. When he heard about our cyber defense team, NKU was instantly on his radar. He eventually narrowed his college choice to two options, one in Highland Heights and one in Lexington, Kentucky. He says he chose NKU because of our outstanding CIT program and because our university community made him feel at home. Kayla went on many campus tours, but when she visited our campus, her decision became easy. These are her words. NKU was the only school where I could actually picture myself being a student. And now Trayana Barnes. Trayana knew she wanted to go to college, but her path wasn't an easy one. Last November, she visited our campus with the Boys and Girls Club. It was one of several tours she took. University of Cincinnati, Bowling Green, Kent State, Ohio University. But Trayana loved our campus and she loved the people here. When she returned for a Black and Gold Day, she also met our dedicated admissions staff. Trayana formed such a bond with Melissa Gorbant and Rochelle Shields that she invited them to her high school graduation party. At that party, her family gave Melissa and Rochelle a standing ovation. And then, not done, then Trayana presented trophies to them. The trophies are engraved Best Director of Admissions and Best Assistant Director of Admissions. Trayana's family and friends collected dozens of small donations to help her attend our university. These gifts are proof. They're proof that it takes the collective effort of many people to enable just one person to obtain a college education. And that's why we're here. That's why we're here. For Trayana and more than 14,000 other men and women. We're here to welcome them. We're here to teach them. We're here to advise them, to encourage them, and yes, on our best days, to inspire them. And what a remarkable opportunity. What a remarkable opportunity that we have been given. An opportunity to serve others. You know, it's hard to imagine. It's hard to imagine a more rewarding vocation. So I have a request. Over the weekend, or today, I ask you to reflect for just a moment on how fortunate we are. We have the opportunity to make a lasting impact on thousands of people, the thousands of people we serve, the opportunity to make their dreams come true. You know, few people are given this special opportunity. So pause today or over the weekend and reflect. Let's count our blessings. And then on Monday, when we come back to campus, let's go to work. Thank you all very much. Have a great year.